am UX designer by day, and by night, we have an e-commerce business that is like me and my wife bootstrap skincare business that we've been working on for like 2 years now. But the first year was just basically the product research and development. So we only launched about 6 months ago, and we have a DTC like Shopify website as well as an Amazon store. So one product so far is like I said, skincare. The product is like a vitamin C face oil. So it is a very competitive niche, obviously, with the skincare.
You're telling
but
me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No kidding. It's pretty fierce out there, but we do. I do really believe in the product. Like I said, we did our research. It's not like drop shipping something from Alibaba kind of thing, but it's like a custom made, custom manufacturer, custom brand, really high quality. So the angle that we were going for is basically my wife's big story is like she was 30 and then she was like flawless skin, like no skincare ever. And then she's like 30 and then she goes like, whoa, am I gonna get old? Like maybe I should do something. And then she started trying out all these things and like it was all like, really bad. And the cheap ones were like complete garbage and the expensive ones are like, I'm like, Ray, are you gonna like put like $500 worth of product on your face every month? It's not gonna be, we're gonna go bankrupt real soon. uh, so anyway, that was the idea, is like high quality but reasonable price. And in terms of Amazon, we do currently, I don't know, I assume we do like a, transparent sharing in this group kind of a thing, right? Is that okay? Yeah. So
Yeah.
we currently are at about like 2K a month in revenue on Amazon. And on in the D2C side, we're still like, testing some stuff, testing some Facebook. So it's like kind of very on and off based on like uh, what are we testing and what works and what not. Amazon is more consistent. So I do run some ads, uh, pretty basic. But yeah, that's where we are right now.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
All right.
And I guess I'll go after.
Yeah.
So what's up, guys? My name is Phil. I have been doing Amazon since 2016. So quite a bit, started on RAOA, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and then moved to my own private labels, sold that to a private aggregator right before COVID starts. So I guess I missed the multiple on that. And then, we started an Amazon agency helping with Amazon accounts. We also specialize in helping D2C, Shopify brands expanding to Amazon. So we totally understand that Amazon is kind of its own beast of itself. It kind of acts like a black box, right? There's no playbook of what you should not be doing. So we've helped that. We've launched probably at this point close to 160 brands for our clients across the board. We launch brands all the time. So I have pretty good insight as to kind of like what works on a holistic point of view. Like we work with, brands that are just getting started. We also have really massive clients that I'm sure if I drop the name, everyone in limited supply will know who they are. So I have really good exposure as to what the strategy is, kind of operating from there. And one more thing too, I guess, I know we're talking about Amazon ads, but I think my area of expertise is not just Amazon ads. It's more kind of the listing, reviews, as well as outside traffic, because I do strongly believe that in 2022, even into 2024, there's a lot of strategies now that in order to make your Amazon channel grow and be successful, it can't just be Amazon ads, right? It's a multifaceted approach. There's other factors that will help you with your Amazon ads, right? So obviously we can dive there if we ever get to there in this call. So I can talk about that down the road.
All right, amazing. I think, Freddie, you want to introduce yourself? And after that, I think, for the sake of time, if anyone has a question, just feel free to ask it. just so we can cover as much stuff as we can.
Sure, thanks. Yeah, before the call, I said I'll be black because I'm on my treadmill under my walking desk. I don't want to be a distraction, but it's nasty weather here, and I've got a standing desk and I have a treadmill, and I need to get some exercise. So, but yeah, I'll just echo what everybody else says. I've been a seller on Amazon for, I guess, 20 years. That's way before Seller Central existed. It was called a Z Shop back then. And have done that forever, on multiple seller accounts, several private label brands, and then started same way, don't like the agency word, but started agency about 5 years ago, really just consulting. And that turned into channel management for a couple of clients. And so that's what we do now. And probably 95% of my time now is spent managing brands. And on my end, I'm still primarily the one doing the PPC for Amazon. So I still live in a lot of PPC every week. I'm trying to outsource that. I got an Upwork job posted right now, trying to hire a new PPC manager to take that load off of me. Look forward to the call. I'll stay black and muted so I'm not distracting everybody with my Popeye walking here.
All right, amazing. I think if anyone has any question, just raise your hand or just hop in the call. Give a little bit of context of where you're at, and I think someone will be able to just either solve it completely or give you like the right next steps. So I don't know if anyone wants to start.
I have some questions. So there's like a lot of Amazon automation tools out there. Like I've been trying out a few or looking at a few, but it's kind of hard to decide. Like a lot of them honestly seem pretty jank. Some seem pretty good, but it's kind of hard to tell. What's your guys' opinion about that? Are you guys just running like Seller Central, like straight up manually everything? Or is there any tool that's recommended, or what's the opinion there?
What are you looking for?
Like, for example, I've been using this thing called Scale Insights. It's like PPC automation. You can basically like set up like like broad campaigns.
It's strictly broad. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you would like you would set up rules that would mine the keywords out of the broad that worked, and then it'll like go into exact match. That was my idea. The reason why I'm looking at the time savings element is like I said, this is like a side thing for me, so I don't have time to like constantly look at it and like manage the keywords and whatnot. So that's why the time component is like pretty important for me.
How's it working for you?
It is nice. Like I was able to set up like broad campaigns very easily on a pretty large scale, and but now I'm at the point where like, okay, maybe we need to like automate, but now I gotta learn about the rules and whatnot. So like the learning curve is pretty big. So yeah, that's where I am.
Okay. What's your ACoS looking like?
It's still pretty high. It's like I think the last 30 days was about like 85% on the
80?
ACoS. But
80.
Yeah, 80, 85. But this was only broad. But
that's fine.
The takers was like better because we were like building the listing, so there is now some organic as well.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing it?
The broad campaigns or the total listing?
In listing and campaigns.
The listing has been up since I think 6 months or so now.
6 months.
And the broad campaigns in the beginning, I was running some manual campaigns. I was like doing some keyword research, like EDM plan or whatever.
Okay.
But like I said, it wasn't very profitable because of the fact that the skincare is like really competitive. And so,
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah, what Gurdeep says is absolutely correct. And if he wants to chime in, by all means, but I'll add on to that. Phil, do you want to add anything?
So just so I'm clear, in regards to automation, so basically you're trying to build a keyword funnel, right? You're trying to build a keyword funnel with rule settings around it, just so that everything kind of more or less gets automated in the process. Is that correct?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's kind of correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, my 2 cents on this is that
That's cool.
who's on automations, no issues there. Obviously, it definitely saves you a lot of time. However, there's so many things to consider when it comes to this, right? I don't know what your listing conversion is. Also, I need to know, like, what's your break even ACOS, right? Because I need to understand, like, what is your current campaign goal right now? Are you trying to just get as much sales as possible? That way your organic keyword ranks on the back end, or are you trying to basically move to a profitability model, meaning that you're trying to make as much money as possible per sale, but just at a lesser frequency, right? So I think that's a good place to start first, and then we can kind of like tailor.
Yeah. No, that's helpful. Yeah, I'm comfortable sharing that. Basically, the goal is to increase the sales velocity, but without like burning, right? Like because it's a bootstrap business, it's like I'm playing with my own money, right? So I trust the product. Like I said, the 6 months, and I'll post the ASIN here in a second once I finish the I
won't
trust the
destroy it,
product.
don't worry. We won't rip it to shreds.
Yeah, so I trust the product. It really does work. Like there has been enough reviews and enough like reviews from the people who we like. So like I'll just tell you an example. When we launched, I was telling my friends, hey, can you buy it? Blah blah blah, leave us a review, right? And then that is no signal, right? I knew that is no signal. They just did it because they were friends. But then like 2 months later, they will be like, dude, I'm ordering my second one. It's so good. Like, my wife's been using it every day. So that's when I know it's like, oh, okay, this actually does work. Now they don't do it just because they're friends. So, but the point being, break-even ACOS is about, we have pretty healthy margins. So I think it's about 60% it would be break-even, but with the total ACOS, like right now the trajectory is that for like about for the last 30 days, I'm talking 1,200 revenue for about 1,000 ad spend, and then plus 800 organic revenue. So it's like with this ratio, with the total ACOS being like higher significantly than the ACOS, I'm comfortable like pushing the gas a little bit more, just so that we can get that like organic ranking and sales velocity in. Yeah.
Okay. Phil, I'd like to chime in real quick, just to and am I pronouncing your name correctly? Mate? Mate, beautiful.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wonderful. So, we'll argue this, right? Because I get a lot of flack for it. I don't like using ads as much as most people do, and the reason why isn't because there's definitely more opportunity in being organic, and there's opportunity in spending money on ads. You mentioned that on $1,200, so you have an 80%, so $1,200 in sales, and $1,000 of that came from ads. Is that correct? That's 80%.
No. It's 2,000 in sales, and 800
Okay.
of that was organic.
Was organic.
Last
Okay. So
yeah.
okay. So the way that I usually operate, this is just me, right? The way I usually operate is I have more of a 90-10 approach when it comes to organic and sponsored or organic marketing versus sponsored ads. What I mean by that is with us, it's listing optimizations bi-weekly, right? It's not just looking at broad, or excuse me, it's not just looking at exact search terms. But there's a strategy that I had for a company called Waterdrop, for example. I'll share that Notion board really quickly with you guys. And oh, look at that. Didn't pay that. That's fine. Shane, may I share my screen?
Yeah, I think you can.
Okay, sweet. So I'll give you an idea of, and I have so many tabs open, standby. Let me go ahead and share desktop one. So look, if you guys can see my screen very quickly, it's this one here, right? Yep, beautiful. So for example, this is what was built for Waterdrop here. Regarding their SEO, you'll see SEO was one of the biggest things here that we took into consideration. We pulled out keywords from Cerebro, and pulling out these keywords from Cerebro, I'll show you what this looks like in a second. We were doing PPC strategies that most people wouldn't do, right? It's more oriented on the specific search term. For example, you'll have this section here where you have a higher emphasis on attack query. Nick Sharma actually mentioned this, and it blew my mind that I thought about this, and then 2 weeks later he posted about it in his newsletter. You have a slow burn, which is where you're targeting phrases, right? So these are lower cost. And then you have consolidation, where you're just focusing on the implementation of ingredients, or for example, if you're selling skincare, soothing feeling, or if you're going for a bull run, you'd be going at, I don't know, some skincare brand. We look up this really quickly. Let's see if this will pop up. For example, regarding what we find here in the search terms, right? Based on their positioning, based on their ranking, we would actually optimize the listing more than focus on ads. Now, I can't show you the ad section right now. I signed an NDA, but the section here where we're going through the relevance of these search terms, this is how we would optimize listings constantly. Now, what the point I'm trying to make is this something that you'd like to do, or is it because what Gurdeep says about automation is absolutely correct, right? Automation gives you the power tools. Automation, these sorts of programs give you the tools to find the right keywords, and Philip will weigh in a second on this. But there are different approaches to it, right? There are more cost-effective ways of getting more traffic, as well as stealing traffic from your competition, depending on your niche, depending on your pricing, depending on a wide variety of factors that here we go. A wide variety of factors that need to be taken into consideration. And while I look at your listing, tell me what you think.
Yeah, no, so basically what you're saying is the PPC is in combination with the constant listing optimization, right?
Completely. Absolutely.
It's
brother.
like both go hand in hand. It's not just, you cannot just look at it one
It's cheech and
without the
yeah,
other.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. They're not different things. They are not.
No, I didn't think about it this way so far.
Absolutely. Like, for example, I'm looking at your listing now. The first thing is you have emojis, and these are, it's a lack of, it's not an issue, right? It's not going to get you down, right? Your listing health score is good. Can I ask, did you work with an agency to get this listing set up? Because this is beautiful.
We work with the actual design and the product photography was me, or like us, me and my wife. But like I said, it helped because we both have a design background. But in terms of the wording and that kind of stuff, we did work with a freelancer, I think.
Understood. Because this is a beautiful.
But there's like a one-time thing, so like we would make a one-time optimization, not like we're not like always optimizing it.
There you go. Phil, do you want to weigh in?
Yeah, let me just unmute myself here. Okay, so two things. One's going to be on the PPC side, one's going to be on the listing side, okay? Both will come in tandem with each other. So the PPC side, I know you just launched 6 months ago. Obviously, I don't know how your ad account looks like and how much data you've accrued in between there. But what I would say, is you should really also focus on long tail keywords, especially when you first start. So, Mate, do you know what long tail keywords are by definition? If not, I can just kind of do the quick rundown.
I have an idea, but it would be helpful if you like more strictly defined it.
Yeah, so like
Oh.
usually a keyword phrase of around 3 to 5 keywords in a search query, right? Or more. Now, the drawback to long tail keywords is that it has very low search volume in general, because the more words you type into Amazon, right, you're looking for something really specific. So if I say deodorant, right, and you go to Amazon, all over the place. Is it women's deodorant? Is it men's deodorant? Is it organic? Is it a different scent? Like, who knows, right? Deodorant is so general. So that's why when you look at deodorant and you come back a couple hours later, everyone's position has just shifted on page one and stuff, because it's just so broad, right? It's not specific. But if someone searches, you know, men's deodorant, organic, citrus musk scent, that's 6 keywords. That's incredibly specific. Amazon's like, okay, so you're looking for a men's deodorant, organic, and you're looking for this specific scent, right? There's only a few options at that point to show. And, you know, the search volume, the monthly search volume could be a couple hundred to a couple thousand. It's really not a lot. But for example, when you have those keywords and you're on page one, the buying intent is incredibly high, because if someone's searching that specific, they already know pretty much what they're buying, right? Amazon as a platform is already high intent to begin with. So this is just adding fuel to the fire, right? And so obviously we're just talking about one keyword here. It's not a lot. It might get you a couple sales a month, right? But when you start stacking these keywords, long tail keywords into campaigns itself, right? So for example, let's just say, you know, for public math's sake here, let's just say every long tail keyword has 1,000 search volume, right? That's not a lot, might get you 2 to 4 sales a month tops. But when you have 50 of them, 70, 100 of them that you've tested and you know that works, all of a sudden, the amalgamation of all your keyword volumes surpasses all your main keyword volumes now, right? And here's the cool thing about long tail keywords. Not only does it convert really well, usually competitors don't like to target a lot of these keywords, because they think to themselves, oh, it's so low volume, it's so chump change, right? I don't want to waste money. But you can actually find it in the silver lining here. You can get the sales and you can rank faster because there's less competitors. And also your ACoS will obviously work to your favor, just because the keywords are very specific, right? So you're going to know in a much shorter time frame whether the keyword converts or not. Okay, so that's the PPC side. Now I'm taking a look at your listing side here, just because I do think listing goes in tandem with your PPC, right? So couple of things here. First off, I like the imagery here. I think it's very pristine and beautiful. Couple of things that I would tweak, if you could call it, right, to actually help you with your conversion, right? So let's just say someone clicks on your ad, they're now on your listing. How do we make it stick, right? The whole purpose of why you optimize a listing, if you want to think about it this way, is you're trying to buy time. You're buying time in hopes that the customer stays on your listing long enough, they sift through the information, and that way they purchase your product, right? Because if they don't, they're going to click somewhere else, and more or less they're pretty much gone forever, right? And then that's, you know, ad spend wasted in a sense. So the one thing, couple things, right? First off, I would consider running a subscription coupon on your listing, right? So it's just a coupon, you clip it, but you're going for a subscription. Why I like this a lot is that when you click on it, usually Amazon moves the purchase and automatically to a subscription, right? And, you know, we work with a lot of skincare brands, supplement brands that have subscription active. And when we kind of review the save and subscribe and save data, we notice that at some point, like 30 to 40% of their entire monthly revenue just comes from subscriptions now, right? We've built it to there, and obviously we want that number to be higher, because as you know, Mate, is that Amazon does not release customer data to you. So truthfully, you don't even know who's buying your product, right? There's obviously ways to sift that information post-purchase, but that's a different topic for a different day. So that's what I would do. I would run it. Depending on your margins, you said 60% ACoS. So you said you have healthy margins. I would consider going like 15, maybe even 20% subscription coupon, because they're only getting 20% discount off the first purchase. Afterwards, they're going to your subscribe and save tiered discount, right? So that's the first one.
That's where the money is, right? Because now it's not PPC; they're just like buying it.
Well, PPC helps, but it's only one facet of the entire customer journey.
No, but
right?
I'm saying once they are on subscription, then it's like recurring revenue for us, basically.
Yeah, basically, you're extending the LTV cycle, right? The
Yeah.
second is what I noticed here. So I use skincare products myself. I use vitamin C serums. The one thing I noticed when I was reading it here on your listing, I note, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I was just scanning through it. I don't see it. Um, what is the shelf life of your vitamin C?
Ooh, that's a good.
It's like it's I think 18 months, because this is not a serum, it's an oil based, right? And
Okay.
so the oil has a natural preservative.
Okay, so vitamin C is generally, so on skincare, vitamin C is generally derived from L-absorbic acid. Okay, so
Yeah.
L-absorbic acid,
Ours is not, but yeah.
no, exactly, right? So
Yeah.
my point being is that a lot of the times vitamin C serums end up sucking down the road is because as soon as you crack the bottle open, it oxidizes, which means the half-life of it begins very rapidly, right? So what usually was light yellow or clear then becomes really dark yellow to the point that you just can't use it on your face anymore, right? That's a huge concern. Drunk Elephant's vitamin C serum, it's one of their top selling products. But what they did that I don't like is they actually added a bit of dye to make the yellow darker. So when people say, why is it dark from the beginning? They say, oh, it's normal. It's just in a proprietary formula. But in reality, they're just trying to hide the fact that it's going to, deteriorate fast, just like any vitamin C serum, but in hopes that you just won't complain about it because you think that this is natural, right? So what you need to do when you differentiate yourself on your listing here is you need to say that your vitamin C outlasts the competition by X amount of times, right? Throw a very big number, arbitrary number. It's up to you to research that. Because you have to understand that you're in the skincare space. People are not stupid. They have a huge consideration phase when it comes to skincare. It's not cheap. They have to put it directly on their skin. There's a lot of concerns and worry here. Like, if I put it on my skin, am I going to have an allergic reaction? Am I going to have a breakout, right, of acne, right? It's up to you to quell that for them. And one of the biggest issues with vitamin C is the shelf life, the oxidation of L-absorbic acid, right? So if you say that you're oil-based on the vitamin C, hence your shelf life lasts longer, you need to immediately relay that, like first bullet point, right? Or if even possible, up to you if you want to tweak the title of it, because I know Amazon's like shortening the title now. Like, we just helped a client launch a product. They're limiting them to 50 characters, which is like nothing, which is pretty brutal, right? I can see here you're probably around like the 150 mark, 200 mark in terms of characters. So I would try to relay that somewhere in there as early as possible. So that's what I would do. Now, the second thing is, I noticed you also don't have Q&A on your listing. I could be wrong here. Let me just double check. Yeah, no, you don't have.
I might not. Yeah,
you don't have Q&A. So contrary to belief, like anyone can ask a question, right, on your listing. So what you could easily do is, I know this is kind of like gray hat, but kind of not really, is you could go on Upwork and just be like, anyone who's in the US, I need your help. I need you to write a question on my listing. And what happens is that you as the brand can immediately address it. I like Q&A a lot on a listing because what happens is that over time you notice what they're asking and what they're not asking. Whatever they're asking, clearly it means that your listing is not showing the information, or it's not even present on the listing, right? So it's something you can ask there, because we surveyed about, I think, 70 Amazon customers. And we noticed that what happens in terms of the buyer journey when they go to a listing is they always look at images first, then text, they scan A+, then they go to Q&A, and then finally they head down to the reviews, right? And then they might go back up to the Q&A section. So Q&A is very important. Any questions that might be missing. So shelf life for vitamin C, super important. You need to add that as well, because, you could say, someone could ask, what's the shelf life? How long do I have to use this before it's not good anymore, right? That is a very valid concern when it comes to vitamin C. So
all right,
my 2
guys,
cents on that.
I'd love to ask this question that Nasser had. very interesting. I'll ask it. I mean, I'll say it, and if Nasser, you want to give a little bit of context, you're free to do so. And the question is, can you guys share more about what your PPC strategy usually is? Do you target keywords where you can rank by driving paid sales, or is it just finding opportunities where ACoS is low and try to maximize those sales? For context, we're at 120K per month on average, and we're looking to grow our accounts by 180 to 220 per month. I've seen Gurdeep, you answer. I don't know if you want to give a little bit more on your answer, and also Fred.
I can jump in if y'all don't mind. The treadmill still going.
Yeah.
I might be out of breath. Yeah, honestly, it depends. Like on his question, for example, you're at 120K per month. Is that on that ASIN exactly, or is that account wide? That's an important question.
It's account wide,
Okay.
but it's basically 3 different products that we just bundle up differently.
Right. So I have an account, for example, that's kind of like right now, similar accounts, not that at that volume yet, but they're trying to scale quickly. They're doing about 3,000 a month in total sales. No, I'm sorry. Per day, 3,000 a day in sales. And the brand owner wants to scale to 5,000 a day as soon as possible. And his requirements are we want to be at 5,000 a day, but we want to be at 20% or less tacos. So what we're doing in a case like that, we're already killing it on all of the branded keywords. And you should be at that point, you should be winning on your branded keywords. And what I mean by that is whatever the name of the brand is. So, if the brand is Spectacular Backpack, then you want to be winning all the click-throughs and the orders on your brand name Spectacular. But I swear and live by Helium 10 Cerebro, and have found I pushed them back on paying extra for Diamond plan or whatever that premium plan is. I was cheap and I pushed back on it for years. And I finally pulled the trigger on it. I was like, man, I should have done this so many years ago. And one of the biggest reasons is you can see keyword sales. So it's one thing to see search volume, but it's another thing to see what kind of sales Amazon is showing on that keyword. And the only way to really scale like that is you've got to start owning some of these more broad, generic keywords that aren't branded, so to speak. So trying to get something like backpack is going to be very expensive as a broad match, and it's going to be really, really hard to get. But so I want to look at what are a few, kind of like Phil was saying, a few more long tail keywords that still have good, adequate search volume, like 5,000 searches per month. And I want to find several of those that I can really own. So it might be men's black backpack, right? And, backpack gets 100,000 searches a month, but men's backpack gets, let's say, 3,000 per month. And I can see what the sales. So I want to make sure that I'm owning that. So I might do, everybody uses a different tool. I use Perpetua. In Perpetua, there's a feature called a keyword boost. And basically I can say for this exact match keyword, black backpack for men or whatever, I want to own top of search, and I'm empowering the software to increase the bid however it wants to increase the bid, so that when somebody searches that keyword, I'm going to always be in position 1. And then I'm going to marry that to Helium 10's keyword tracker so I can see my organic ranking and where I am on that. I kind of balance it that way. So that's how I'd go about scaling an account like that. I would try to find, 5 to 10 of those types of keywords that are going to give me more market share that aren't, assuming you've already covered your branded keywords. I would be looking for those middle of the road type longer tail keywords that are going to get me there. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm hustling.
No, this is perfect. Do you mind if I ask a follow-up question?
Not at all. That's what we're here for.
How do you assess if a certain broad keyword is going to be worth going after? So for context, we're in the pain relief industry. So a lot of the keywords are very competitive keywords, things like pain relief or pain relief cream, and things of that sort. The volume is there, but how do you assess if driving sales at a loss on these keywords is worth it, because it would translate to you dominating that keyword organically and through paid?
Great question. So whether it's as answering as a brand owner or answering as an agency owner, it all depends on the client and how much they want to hurt. You know, when it's a client, I'm like, look, I'm going to be honest with you. This is going to hurt. You're going to bleed. You're going to bleed for 6 to 8 months in the red to rank this. That scares them away. Usually I try to find a better way, because the thing is, in my experience, like, tell me again, what was an example of that broad keyword you just used?
Let's say pain relief cream.
Pain relief cream. All right, so that's going to be very hard to rank for and to stay within your budget. You can do it. It's going to bleed for a long time. You got to decide, you know, if that's worth it or not. But what I found is that you can find variations of that. They're just a little bit more long tail. Instead of pain relief cream for women, or natural pain relief cream, or organic pain relief cream. One extra word in there and make it exact match or make it phrase match is going to chop down the clicks dramatically. It's going to give you more qualified traffic. But when you do that, your organic ranking for pain relief cream is also going to climb. It doesn't have to be an exact match to pain relief cream. If you're really driving sales on organic pain relief cream or oil-free pain relief, you're still going to get some juice on that keyword.
Right.
You're on a roll, man. That treadmill's working.
Dude, man, down 30, 35 pounds so far.
There you go, man.
June.
Beautiful. Happy to hear that.
I gotta keep it going.
Gorgeous. I'd like to add on to that. Nasser, Habibti, listen, the idea of using more long tail search terms, as Fred mentioned, is the only thing you should be focusing on now, right? Because pain relief, you're dealing with Tylenol, right? You're dealing with acetaminophen, you're dealing with other bigger companies, right? So the more you focus on long tail search terms, you can even misspell the words too, G. If you misspell the words, you know, you might actually get hits for that too, right? You can start spelling it in Spanish. You can start spelling it in Spanish, and that'll start getting us too. Look, if you are in a category, right, where the competition is quite literally deadly and their budgets are triple your size, okay, your job is exposure, right? Your job is getting your name out there, because one day they're not going to be ranking at the first line on the first page. Maybe you will. Maybe the next, maybe you'll be the second row. Maybe they won't show up at all. Especially when you're dealing with someone like that, you have to consider the fact that you're basically, you know, what's it called? I hate using this word, but like a bottom feeder, right? Because if you already have the big guys taking full control of specific search term A, B, C, all the way to Z, you're relying on either fighting them for it, right? Which will lead to a price war, or you can just stay there present for when the time comes when a customer is not unable to find their listing, they'll find yours, right? You can also bundle, right? It's not just PPC. You can also bundle. You can make it a better offer. You can give discounts, coupons, improve your imagery, right? Those are all options as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff too, I'll just tag on. All that stuff 100% agree with. And especially if you can get either a bundle or the same product but at a better value, and do product ASIN targeting and create a campaign where you're always showing up on their page. And so you want to do that, product ASIN targeting, make sure your ads are showing up on your competitor's page to steal that market share from them. But that's not going to work if you don't have a good offer, right? Because we all know that customer acquisition costs when you're trying to get new to brand customers costs more. And then secondly, this is why I love what they've done in the last year. If you're a brand registry, then you have access to these brand tailored promotions. And who knows how big your audience is, but let's say you have an audience of 50,000 people in your abandoned cart audience. Set up a sponsored display ad, and the sponsored display ad for your product, you want to make it target people of the competitor brand. So if they go to that competitor brand, they're going to see your sponsored product ad. They're also going to see your sponsored display ad following them around. And then that's going to make them come back to your page. And if you turn on the brand tailored promotion and offer, say, a 10-15% discount for that audience, you're double whammy. You're targeting them through sponsored display to make sure they get back to your page. And when they do get back to your page, they see that your offer is not only better, but really better because you have an abandoned cart discount there for them.
Right. No, I appreciate that. That makes a lot of sense.
I'm so sorry to cut you off. Do you mind if I
No,
add
no.
just one thing?
Yeah, of course, of course.
I found Metastick online. You're advertising for your own brand. Stop advertising for Metastick and start focusing more on long tail search terms because you're wasting money. Since you own the Shin, can I share my screen again? Perfect.
Yeah,
Thank
feel
you.
free.
And look, the purpose of these calls is to not, not to make ourselves feel bad. We're all here for help. We're all here to make money and do things properly. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. Look, I searched Metastick, and as soon as I click on this right here, sponsored, you're going to get charged for it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get charged. And so, I mean, when I click on this one here, I can see immediately how much is being made there, which isn't a problem. But you're focusing too much on this search term. Don't do this, right? Focus on this, right? Focus on topical pain reliever, backache pain reliever, right? Focus on the benefits. Focus on what people are actually looking for instead of the brand name.
Right.
Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely does. It's in the US, what we found is a lot of the main keywords that we went after were expensive, very competitive, not profitable for us.
No, just do it organic.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about, like, let's say pain relief cream. I need to dabble more with long tail keywords for sure, and I need to start visualizing the overall customer journey in a way that Fred mentioned. Targeting them in different places, being a bit more mindful or intentional about how to target them. Right now, a lot of why we were targeting branded keywords was because we found some competitors advertising on these keywords. It was more defense, trying to dominate our keyword and not let anyone else show up, which is why we were advertising different ASINs so that all 4 results would be us. I don't think it's the best strategy, and it's definitely not a good strategy for new to brand customers. So I think I'll take some of the insights and some of the tips that you and Fred mentioned, and I'll definitely play around with that.
Absolutely. No, sir, let's talk about it. All right. I'll DM you on Slack too. Is that cool?
Yeah, for sure.
Beautiful.
All right. I don't know if we have time for one more question. I'll just put it out there, and if anyone can answer, that'd be amazing. This one is by Onikepe. Like, correct me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. I'm a physician with a gut health supplement brand that is certified gut friendly. I'm interested in a strategy to grow my gut health supplement brand. We're plateaued at 30K-ish a month, give or take. The supplement space is very competitive, so it's really hard to manage PPC at good ACOS.
Oh,
I don't know if Onikepe, you want to add anything else? Thanks, Fred.
I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. Thanks. Sorry about that. Yes, thank you. So that's really, a good summary. I've tried quite a few things. PPC doesn't work very well. Again, I guess you guys know about the competitiveness of the supplement space in general, and I'm just looking for a way to grow the brand sustainably. I don't mind losing money upfront if we can make it up later on, but I've tried a number of Amazon. I've tried agencies. I've tried Amazon automation platforms. without a lot of success. I'm just, just trying to get ways to grow revenue.
Do you, besides Amazon, are you doing retail?
No, we don't. We have our own website, but we don't do no retail. No.
Interested in doing retail? I can put you in contact with someone, because this looks like something that Vitamin Shop would take.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Yeah, it would be absolutely. Thank you.
Sounds good. Phil, or anyone else, does anyone want to jump on this real quick?
Yeah, quickly here. So obviously there's a lot of things to uncover here that I don't think in the interest of time we'll be able to cover all of them. But what I'm noticing just as a general trend for products in very tough space, right? So you're in the supplement space, gut friendly, right? So obviously there's a lot of competitors who've been on there for years. So they have a lot of keywords indexed with very strong sales history, right? So Amazon obviously favors them. Something to keep in mind here is that more and more brands are driving outside traffic to Amazon. This is something that's not commonly talked about, but I do believe that whoever drives the most outside traffic also wins on Amazon. So just from launching so many of our client brands, I noticed that generally what happens is that if you have a Shopify business, 25 to 35% of your website traffic bleeds over into Amazon. Amazon loves outside traffic. They actually favor this metric like more besides if you spend like Amazon PPC, for example, right? Because you're sending customers to them literally from outside to Amazon. So they're going to reward you appropriately, which is really well. And this is how you actually quickly rank for your listing here, right? And where I'm getting at with my point is that there's a lot of supplement brands that are driving a lot of outside traffic already, unintentionally or intentionally, right? It really depends. Everyone has a very varying different strategy here, but that's something I would also consider is trying to get your Shopify store to a place where you can actually start getting sales up and running. 30, 40K doesn't have to be anything major numbers here we're talking about, because what happens is that eventually traffic is going to go to your Amazon listing. So as your Shopify channel grows, you're also going to see a direct correlation of your Amazon channel growing, just because it's catching all the spillover traffic. It's coming from outside source. So Amazon loves this. So they're going to help you rank higher. Just from working with a lot of supplement brands, talking with a lot of, supplement brands, many of them have a lot of outside traffic sources already in place, right? That's why they're able to stand there on Amazon with pretty much a near bulletproof foundation, unless something were to happen to their listing, God forbid, right? So that's what I'm noticing, especially when it comes to competitive listings and industry spaces. So something to consider as well.